Hello everyone, welcome to the Godzilla Q&A.
Hello everybody.
For those who don't know who this is a good friend of mine on YouTube, JasonVoorhees2011.
It's nice to finally do a video with Tyler here.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he does some great, some really good movie fake trailers, whether they be Avatar, Justice League, and stuff like that. And I've given a lot of help. I've given a lot of praise to his Transformers Avatar Chronicles fanfiction. Go check it out. He's just reached Sojin's comment.
And I honestly didn't think that I would be able to reach it that far, in all honesty.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, we're not here to talk about Transformers or Benders, unfortunately.
Aw.
We're here to talk about a giant 300-story foot monster that shoots radioactive fire.
Yeah, we are.
So, more or less, excuse me, oof. Sorry, people, I had pizza and it's not, and it's going down rough.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah. So, pretty much, I know Zazubar was supposed to be here, but he unfortunately he was a bit busy, so I didn't want to bother him with this. But we're going to be working on something else. Something that has the initials DBZ in it.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so, if you know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say what, but you guys probably know what subject it is, but we're going to rock the dragon, so to speak. That was terrible. So anyway,
Better than what I could have done.
So anyway, let's get on with the questions finally, because you're all here for that.
Let's do this.
All right. Our first question comes from Overnerd02, and he asks, if you could bring back Kiryu in a future movie, how would you make any changes or improvements to that character?
I personally thought Kiryu was handled pretty well. And obviously, we need to bring in a version of Mecha Godzilla. And if I were to draw inspiration from any of them, I would go for Kiryu.
Yeah, Kiryu is one of my favorites, but I've always loved the '60s Mecha Godzilla the most.
Yeah, I've always loved that version as well.
Yeah, it was just so retro and fun to look at. Like, I used to have an action figure of that. Until, my brother broke it in half because he can be a douche sometimes. So yeah, any improvements? I don't really see any, really.
Yeah, me neither, in all honesty, but...
Actually, you know what you could do with Mecha Godzilla, with Kiryu? You could actually make it kind of like, the Amazo android from DC. You know how, like, it could scan something and then adapt to it? Like the, Super Adaptoid from Marvel.
That sounds interesting.
Like, it could look at, at a Kaiju and just copy its abilities. Like, if it's fighting Mothra, it can scan Mothra and copy her energy-based abilities. Or it's fighting Gigan, it can morph it could take on the, it can morph its arms into, like, Gigan's blades.
What I would do for Mecha Godzilla is, you know how Guillermo del Toro has been talking about a Godzilla Pacific Rim crossover?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
The wonders of... We're not even, 5 minutes in. We've already encountered problems.
Sorry about that. That was my mom. She needs something.
Oh.
But I would... You know how Guillermo del Toro said that he was interested in a Godzilla Pacific Rim crossover?
Yeah.
That's how I would work in Mecha Godzilla, as an upgrade to the Jaegers.
Okay. That all?
Also what you said sounded really interesting.
Alright. Okay, so our next... Thank you for that question, Overnerd. Tarnell4003 asks, what would you think about a Godzilla and Ultraman crossover from, of course, the Ultraman series? Well, no offense, Tarnell, but of course that would be a no-duh situation.
Just do what Godzilla vs. Megalon did. Just replace Shit Jaguar with Ultraman.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't know, like, I've seen a few of them, and if you've ever watched the Japanese series Zone Fighter, we get something close to that with Godzilla and Zone Fighter teaming up.
I unfortunately know absolutely nothing about Ultraman.
I have some knowledge of Ultraman, but I like Ultraman. I've just never been following the continuity series. Actually, out of all the people I know who love Ultraman, my dad is a gigantic Ultraman fan.
Is that so?
Yeah. He is like he knows all the continuity and stuff like that. It's weird. I was like, this is coming from a guy whose only real true love is his true love is Kiss and Star Trek. When he starts talking about Ultraman, I'm like, are you a wizard?
Yeah. My dad's actually a big fan of Kiss as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all we can say, Tarnell, but thank you for that question. Moving on to King Nazaru, and he asks, do you think we will see Godzilla use the Crimson Spiral Ray, the most powerful red atomic breath that Godzilla used to defeat Mecha Godzilla 2, Space Godzilla, Destroya, and Kaiser Ghidorah in the 2014 movie? I'm going to go out with a no. And here's why. I don't think he'll use that because it's just them. I don't think they're gonna bust out the big guns right out the gate. And it's such an obscure attack move that I don't think the people for the 2014 movie are gonna use it.
Yeah, even though the new Godzilla does seem to draw a lot from the Heisei series, at least in design.
Yeah, it looks very Heisei series.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I can say. I'm going to go with a no, but it'd be cool if it did happen.
It would be cool, but I would also probably say no.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that question, Nazaru. Moving on to Colin Thable. So again, I deeply apologize if I'm messing up people's names.
I would probably be worse, in all honesty.
Yeah. And he asked, plain and simple, how would you like to see a Godzilla and Doctor Who crossover?
I know nothing about Doctor Who, so I can't help you with that.
I don't know, really. Like, the thing is that, both Godzilla and... I think it would be interesting for the Doctor to just simply sit back and watch Godzilla, and just be kind of feel like a kinship, because they're both, they're the only ones of their kind. They both are, kind of like lost souls. Only Godzilla takes his anger out on everyone. That's the best... I can't really give you a proper, thing. I just can't think of one right now.
Neither can I. But for different reasons.
Yeah. So thank you for that question. Our next question comes from R. Trolliver. Again, I deeply apologize if I am messing up these names. What is your favorite Godzilla kaiju? That is R. Trolliver's question. And I'm guessing he's referring to other kaiju outside of Godzilla.
I believe that's what he's referring to.
Yeah. Jason, what is some of your favorite... well, if you could pick, one favorite other kaiju outside of Godzilla in his universe, what would it be?
I would have to personally go with Destroya.
Destroya.
Yeah. I gotta say it like that. Because Destroya was just such a massive monster, and he had multiple forms, and his design was just so awesome. Not to mention, he killed Godzilla's son.
Yeah. And he has the bragging rights to technically killing Godzilla.
Well, technically, Godzilla killed himself.
Yeah.
It was a nuclear meltdown from his heart.
Yeah, well, I've seen the movies. Deso Troy is a good one. That image, one of my favorite scenes in Godzilla movie history, is when Destroy is in his final form, and he just comes out of the smoke. Look, he looks like... Yeah. It's almost like you're looking at hell itself.
And the fact that he looks like the devil doesn't help that much either.
Yeah.
I also have to say King Ghidorah is probably a close second.
Yeah, King Ghidorah is my favorite pick. He's such a great foil for Godzilla.
Yeah.
And like I've said before, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the 1991 movie, is my favorite, so...
Yeah.
Another one, and this one, no one is going to like me, but I like him because it's a child. This is a movie I saw from my childhood, and I love this monster out of sake of my childhood. I love Jet Jaguar. There, I said it.
There actually is a lot of... I really do like Jet Jaguar as well.
Yeah. You all, I don't care what anyone thinks. I like Jet Jaguar.
We don't give a fuck. Bring out the hate, motherfuckers.
No, don't bring out the hate. That's just my personal opinion.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that's just to name a few. There's so many good ones and so many bad ones. But
yeah, the worst one I would probably say is that stupid electricity monster that's always bullying Minya in All Monsters Attack.
You mean Godzilla's Revenge?
Yeah, All Monsters Attack was the Japanese name for Godzilla's Revenge.
Yeah. Which, again, same as the English dub title. That doesn't make any sense. What is Godzilla getting revenge on? I hope the movie producers for this movie.
I never got that either.
Yeah. So, anywho.
But that monster was just always...
Oh, yeah.
It was the stupidest looking thing imaginable.
Yeah, Gabura.
I also really hate just that giant bird from Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster because there's just no creativity in it whatsoever. You might as well just replace it with Rodan.
Yeah. So there's a few right there that we didn't like, and we also named our favorite ones, so you want to move on to the next question?
Sure.
Our next question comes from Marquise Rogers. Again, hope I'm saying these names right. Who do you guys think might be the villain in the new Godzilla movie? I'm guessing King Ghidorah.
It's weird because I heard a description saying that there was a monster attacking an army base, and it looked reminiscent of the Cloverfield monster, which for some reason to me always resembled Orga.
Here's my thing. I don't think we'll get King Ghidorah in this movie. Because I think he's more like a sequel monster if they're going to put him in this universe. My thing is that I think what they're going to do is try to bring in new monsters. Like, I know people have been saying, there's like a centipede monster that people have been talking about, and a few others, which I'm all for, multiple monsters in a Godzilla film. But I think if you are going to reboot this universe, you gotta have a good explanation for a new King Ghidorah. And I'm all for King Ghidorah, obviously, but I don't think you need to use your big gun in the first movie. And again, it all depends on, is he going to be in this new universe?
Yeah, I don't think they should bring in King Ghidorah just yet. Just don't pull out their big guns yet. Just save him for another movie, much like when they saved the Joker for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Actually, there's another question that's similar to this of what monster we would want to see. But my thing is that I would really want to see a much more underappreciated monster. And we'll talk about that later.
All right. Okay, thank you for that question, Marquise. Next question comes from 146 Zigzag, and he asks, if Hollywood hired you to write a Godzilla vs. King Kong remake, what would the outcome be? I don't know, because I like the movie as it is.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything to make it different. That's about it. I can't really think...
Basically just up the effects. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, pretty much up the effects. It's really all I can think of. So, that's all I can... Sorry, that's a small question, but that's really all we can think of. So thank you for that question, Zigzag. Our next one comes from, and I was really surprised we got a question from him, Yoko Higuchi. Yoko Higuchi... Most of you guys don't know this guy, but he does a lot of great videos on his channel. He does some really good fan trailers, but also he does some really fantastic psychologial films.
Yeah. I actually knew that a question was probably going to come from him because he actually did a tribute to Godzilla.
Yeah, I knew that. And he's done a few other things that we've all unanimously liked. I've just been thinking he's like... I actually wasn't expecting him to put a question on my on the Q&A. But hey, man, if you're listening, more power to you. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, and going off topic for a bit, one of my favorite videos of his was that Jurassic Park Predators video that he requested.
Oh yeah, that was totally me who requested that. And he was like,
yeah.
I was like, is he going to go? I was literally like, is he going to go for this? He's probably going to come back and say it's stupid. I got a message from him like 5 minutes later. I was like, dude, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah, but before we get off topic, let's hear the question.
All right. okay, what do you hope to see in the new Godzilla reboot, and what do you hope will not be in the Godzilla reboot? As a director, as the director is a big fan of the original series and wants to follow a serious and dark tone of the first, I want to know if you will be on board with the film as I am. Well, to answer that part, it's pretty much one question, more or less. So, it's just put in two parts. It's just kind of like two sections of the same question.
Well, it's somewhat two questions because he also asked what we wouldn't want.
Well, it's kind of it's tomato. It's pretty much saying what do we want to see and what we don't want to see. It's not asking like one or two questions. He's pretty much, and the second part where he said as the director of that stuff, he was pretty much saying he's just excited. That's him saying he's excited for the film.
Aren't we all?
What I want to see from the film is actually, a lot of people are going to not agree with this, but what made the first Godzilla film so great was that Godzilla was kept in the shadows. Now, you need Godzilla to be seen a lot in this new day and age because, let's face it, a lot of people out there are kind of... What's the nice word I'm looking for? Not patient. Are impatient, pretty much. So you want to bring out the monster as much as possible, but however, build up to him. Make, like in the original film, Toho film, all the way back. Build...
I was just saying that I agree with you.
Yeah, build up to him. Make him the monster in the shadows. Let the people's imagination grow so high, and when you show him, it's just that more exciting. Here's all the things you don't need to do in a Godzilla film. Everything that Roland Emmerich did. Go look at that film, and it'll show you everything that I don't want in a Godzilla film.
In other words, don't make him a giant mutant iguana.
Yeah. That's my thing,
Or if some dumbass say that's a lot of fish.
Yeah. That's my... Well, we're getting frickin' Bryan Cranston in this movie.
Yeah, I doubt that he would... I doubt he was... If anyone tells him to say that's a lot of fish, he would just say, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still Yeah, try putting that in your head. Bryan Cranston is in a Godzilla film. How can you not be excited now? The only thing that could make it better is that they make Bryan Cranston grow 50 feet tall to fight Godzilla.
Yeah, and we're also getting Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
But I do very much agree with you. In fact, actually the best thing about the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie, it actually wasn't even in the film. It was like the marketing campaign where they don't show you the monster at all. They just keep people's imaginations running wild. Like, what's he going to look like? What's he going to look like? He looks like a giant iguana.
Yeah. That's what, take what Toho did and make him the monster in the shadows, but show him a lot. As a Godzilla fan, I would like a good balance of that, and also make the monsters that Godzilla fights interesting. Don't make them something that can make Godzilla a run for his money. Also, make us give a damn about the humans.
Yeah, don't go all Michael Bay on us.
Yeah. I don't need Kick-Ass going, Godzilla! every 5 minutes and looking surprised.
I would pretty much agree with you on what you want and what you didn't want, but I would also be perfectly fine if it was just Godzilla on his own.
Yeah, I would be okay. I know, I've heard a lot of people, are there going to be monsters? Are there not going to be other monsters? I'd be okay with either way.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick the two, I would say just make a Godzilla movie for now, and then if you make when you make a sequel, that's when you bring in another monster.
Yeah. That's all really I got for it. Make us care about the human characters. Make Godzilla make him terrifying. Don't, I'm okay, make him a force of nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, thank you for that question, Yoko. That question was very much appreciated.
Very much.
So our next question comes from Travis Rendon, who asks, what other Toho kaijus would you consider to be in Godzilla's friends and allies list? Like, if Godzilla was fighting a whole army of monsters, who do you think would be there to back him up? Okay, I would have to say, for me, I could definitely see... Here's the list of monsters I usually see on Godzilla's that are Godzilla's quote-unquote allies.
Yeah.
Anguirus, Mothra, Rodan, Jet Jaguar, and King Caesar, and his son. So that's about 6 monsters.
Yeah. Probably Mothra, because she's what everyone thinks of when anyone thinks of an ally for Godzilla.
Yeah, either her or Anguirus.
Yeah. Actually, the more I think about it, I think Rodan was more an ally to Godzilla than Anguirus was.
Well, you see Anguirus team up with Godzilla more often. You usually see it's kind of like with Godzilla and Rodan. It's more like they're kind of like they're more like Sonic and Knuckles. They're rivals, but they're allies. If you want to put it in that kind of context.
Yeah, pretty much. Although I more so remember Rodan being an ally to Godzilla in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and Invasion of the Astro Monster.
Yeah, true. So those are pretty much the big 6 you usually... those are the big ones, the big allies for Godzilla.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I would really want to see King Caesar again.
Yeah, me too. When's the last time we saw Caesar?
Final Wars.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say Final Wars, where he got trashed.
I was actually really surprised that they put King Caesar in that one.
Yeah.
And Ebra and Hedorah. Basically they just went out of the way to put pretty much all the Showa monsters and the giant iguana.
Yeah. Alright, so the next question, think of that question, Travis, and the next question comes from Dragon Epic 94, who asks, what do you think the Godzilla 2015 sequel will be like, or do you think they'll make a live-action TV series?
Okay, first of all, I don't think for a big budget movie like Godzilla, they're not gonna shove it out in a year.
No. I don't think the sequel will come out the following year. That's the thing. Now, 2017, however, or 2016 or 17, however, I can probably see happening.
Yeah, I can see that. Basically, he's just asking what you want to see in the sequel.
I would like to see more classic monsters if that's possible. If not classic monsters, more powerful monsters. I would even like to see. I don't think we'll get I don't think a live action TV series would happen because it's too much. The budget's too big.
I can see Toho making one, but here in America, I can't possibly think of an actual Godzilla TV series.
Yeah. My thing is that you need a big budget, and it's like you could easily say, "Oh, it's a bunch of people looking for new monsters and tracking Godzilla." That would be interesting, but you'd need monsters to fight, and that costs a lot of money.
Hold
on. The wonders of pausing. I'm stalling for time because Jason has something to do.
No, I didn't have anything to do with it. That was just my mom saying, keep it down, they're trying to sleep.
Yeah, alright.
What were we saying?
We were talking about the live-action TV series, which I'd have to say no on.
The way you described it, doesn't that just sound like a repeat of Godzilla the series?
Yeah, but that's the way you could look at it.
Yeah. I would say that what I would want in a sequel, honestly, I would want to see more of the Heisei monsters.
Yeah, okay.
Because most of them have really only been featured. Well, a majority of them have been featured in one movie. You get Space Godzilla, Desodroya, and in a way, Mecha King Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're done with that question, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that question, Dragon Epic 94. Next question comes from the Okinawa Kid Prime, and he asks, "What do you think of what do you think would happen if Godzilla were to visit Jurassic Park?"
Godzilla would pretty much blast all the dinosaurs to hell.
Yeah. It would literally be called Atomic Park. I think that's the name of a punk band somewhere.
I would not be surprised.
That's really all I can say. Sorry, Prime.
It would just be a fucking massacre.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, that's really all we got. Other than all I can imagine is the T-Rex. It's kind of like that scene, that little Godzilla versus Bambi mini feature before the 1985 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that question, Prime, and sorry that was kind of short, but yeah. Zilla 2006 Abel asks, What do you think of the new Godzilla design? I frickin' love it.
So do I.
It looks so Heisei series, and I grew up as much as you could argue back and forth about the Heisei series, but I like the Heisei.
Oh, I fucking love the Heisei series.
Yeah, and he looks like a very vicious, he looks very reptilian, but yet looks so close to the original Godzilla design. Looks so amazing.
Yeah. It does look like he has a little bit of the Millennium Godzilla, like he has bigger spikes and he has smaller eyes.
Yeah, he looks like a fusion of Millennium and Heisei.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, and also, I just want to say, fuck you, Warner Brothers, for taking down a video all because I showed a freaking picture.
Yeah, they are keeping this very under wraps.
Yeah. I can understand if you want to keep the design a secret, but don't fucking give me a copyright strike for it.
Yeah. So think of that question, Zilla. Next comes a question from Venom Rules All, and he asks, first off, he says, I was hoping you'd make a Q&A for the G-Man, and here's my question about my favorite Godzilla villain. If Space Godzilla shows up in one of the new movies, what do you want his origin and story to be? Okay, first off, I wouldn't have it two different origins.
Neither would I.
Yeah, how about we just stick to one? Also, how about, having, instead of Mothra cause the G-cells to go up into space, or Biollante, or pick your damn poison,
I didn't think it made sense that Biollante was the one, because, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah kind of altered the timeline.
Yeah. My thing is that, how about having, someone who's trying to test out Godzilla's cells in, a space center, some crazy shit happens, and they accidentally create Space Godzilla. I don't know, yeah, that's the best I got.
It would basically be a sci-fi version of them, how they accidentally created Godzilla using the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, actually.
Alright. Also, I'd give him a better roar. Space Godzilla, he's a punk, but he's a cool punk, if that makes any sense. But he needs a better roar. He just sounds like a pig having his balls chopped off.
Yeah. He's kind of a creep, too, for taking Godzilla's child.
No, he's a dick for doing that.
He's a dick and a creep.
Yeah. So thank you for that question, Venom. Moving on to Vritzilla. And he asks, if you could write and direct your own Godzilla film, what time period, setting, and effects medium, practical or CG, would you implement to use? Okay, if I could write and direct a Godzilla film. Oh boy. Wow, that's a big one. Well, actually, it's kind of funny because I am writing. Most of you guys know or don't know this, but I am co-writing a Godzilla fan film with Zazubar called the working title right now is Godzilla Landfall, and it's going to be delving into Godzilla attacking the U.S. and pretty much delving in the aftermath of it. It's going to be shot like It's going to be treated like a mockumentary.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. We're pretty much going to delve into how the U.S. And also kind of answering these big questions of the big one we have is that does the U.S. and even the entire United Nations have weapons that could actually kill Godzilla, or are they leaving him alive for another reason?
Well, fuck it, I don't think that there's anything that can kill Godzilla except another monster. Are you listening to us, Roland Emmerich?
Yeah. I doubt he is. He's rolling in a pile of money right now.
Yeah. And when he's not currently working on Independence Day 2.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No.
But I will say that so I'm kind of am writing. I'm not directing, but I am kind of co-writing a Godzilla film right now. I guess you could say that, but for practical effects, I love CGI when it's done right, but I could go with a guy in a suit. Which kind of is weird because in the movie me and Zazubar are doing, we're using stop motion, but how we're gonna use stop motion is we're gonna keep that a secret.
All right.
How it's gonna be shot at least. So yeah, I would be okay with CG or guy in a suit.
I would say the same thing
Yeah.
as well. But in terms of writing and directing, I don't fucking know. I don't know the first thing about directing. All I know is fan trailers and fan fictions, and that's pretty much it. For time period, I would, I'd say Godzilla works pretty well in the present time. So present time setting. Yeah, I would think so as well.
Yeah. Something like that. So thank you for that question, Vritzilla. Again, hoping you're saying these names right. We now move on to our next question, which is Burnouter7. And he asks, what do you think of a Godzilla or Voltron crossover, or a Godzilla and Symbiotic Titan crossover?
As much as it kills me to say it, I don't know much about either of those. It kills me that I don't know about Ultron because I've really been wanting to get into one.
Yeah. I would be okay with either crossover, I guess. I think it'd be cool. I mean, hell, Dynamite owns the rights to do Voltron, and IDW has the rights to Godzilla, so kind of giving you a hit there, IDW.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the one that would be more I guess it's saying the one that's more possible to do. Although, to be fair, IDW now owns the rights to all the comics, and that also includes Symbiotic Titan, so...
Doesn't sound near as far-fetched.
Yeah. So yeah, either one would be cool. So, thanks for that question, Burnouter. Serpentilata. Again, I am so sorry if I am mispronouncing these names.
Again, I would probably be worse.
Yeah. And he asks, tell me if you can imagine one original Godzilla kaiju.
Oh, boy.
I did a whole video about this, and now it's totally left me, of like some of the original monsters I did.
I guess basically go check out that video.
It's been a while. I can't even remember if I still have it up or not. But yeah, they're like... well, there's a few other monsters that I created, like... actually, it's kind of funny. I was writing this one story, and I was looking for giant monsters to use, and my high school geometry teacher, actually not geometry, algebra teacher, gave me an idea.
You actually mentioned that when we were talking one day on Skype.
Yeah. He gave me this idea for using a giant plant monster, a giant Venus flytrap monster that could absorb heat and make it stronger and bigger, into a giant Venus flytrap that could absorb heat and add to its own strength and grow bigger.
Basically, another version of Violante.
Yeah, only not. Well, depending on it sounds a lot like Violante.
Yeah.
But there are a few other giant monsters that I've toyed around with. What about you?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, in all honesty. It's like all the cool ideas have already been taken.
All right. So, thank you for that question. Oh wait, we already answered that question. I guess the guy asked on this question on both videos. So next question comes from J Witch Dragon, and he asks, "What would you like to see? Would you like to see Godzilla fight the Cloverfield monster? If by fight you mean totally rape that bitch." I'm sorry. Whenever someone says Godzilla versus the Cloverfield monster, the Cloverfield monster's cool. Don't get me wrong. He's a very cool monster, and
a very unique one.
Very unique one too. Keep that in mind. Very unique, very scary, very intimidating, and stuff like that. But that monster would get owned by the G-Man.
Well, at least he stand a better chance against the giant iguana. You know, if you've seen Final Wars, you know what happened to him.
Yeah.
But it probably wouldn't be that. It probably wouldn't be that much different.
Yeah. Cloverfield monster comes out of the water and be like, I'm the Cloverfield monster. And then Godzilla's like, hey, I'm Godzilla. You're my bitch now. Yeah, and then he's like, I will fight you now, Godzilla. Fire breath, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people have asked this, but I personally like the thing is that the Cloverfield monster's cool and he's an intimidating monster. But yeah, if he went up against Godzilla, and I don't mean to sound like the Godzilla fanboy, but you look at the Cloverfield monster, and you look at Godzilla, and you see what the two monsters can do.
Yeah.
Kind of, and again, I'm playing science into this more than I am fanboying. Because I like both monsters equally, but Godzilla would definitely win.
Yeah.
Just saying. Alright. Godzilla, okay, so thanks for that question, J Witch Dragon. Godzilla 31,000 asks, what are your thoughts on the recently revealed image? Oh, that's pretty much the same question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've already answered that, really.
Yeah, we both answered that. We fucking love it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we answered this question before, so... Yeah, we technically gave our answer, so sorry, Godzilla 31,000. We've already answered that question.
Yeah.
Alright.
But thanks for trying to contribute.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you anyway. I mean, I'm pretty sure you got the question anyway. You got the answer anyway, so yeah. Again, we're deeply sorry, but yeah, I'm following my rules here. I'm not going to bend or break them.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Predator Warrior 18... So, again, thank you for that question, Godzilla 31,000. And now we move on to Predator Warrior 18. Asking, if Godzilla and Hulk teamed up and took on the Justice League, and let's say, for the sake of argument, they managed to beat them, but didn't kill them, would you be happy with it? I guess. Because
that's probably what would happen.
I don't know, like, the whole Justice League, I mean, every major superhero in the DC universe fighting Hulk and Godzilla, and they still won? Yeah, I guess I'd be happy with it. I mean...
Yeah, I guess.
The current New 52 the New 52 Justice League? Yeah, okay. And maybe if they beat them up so bad, Superman and the others would be like, man, wasn't it better when it wasn't before Flashpoint? Let's go back to the pre-52. Let's go back to the pre-52.
And then we can have that Justice League Transformers crossover.
Yeah. So, if it's New 52 Justice League, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you for that question, Predator Warrior 18. Now coming on to Boo-Rat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what he asks, which were some of your favorite monsters from the 90s Godzilla cartoon? Mine were the Cretaceosaurus Rex, the giant squid that ate tar, Cyberzilla, and the Chameleon. My favorite monsters... Ooh, this is a good question. But first, what about you, Jason? I'll let you go first.
I haven't seen much of the Godzilla series, but I have seen the stuff with Cyberzilla, and I thought that was really awesome.
Alright. For me, I really liked El Gisorno, the giant worm, Nurzog, the Sphinx. Cyberzilla was cool. The giant snake was awesome. The Bird of Paradise was cool. There were a lot of just awesome monsters, really.
Yeah. From what from what I heard, they are awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that question, Boo Rat. Next question comes from Fire Tools, and he asks, would you like an origin movie for King Ghidorah? If so, how would the story go? The thing is that I think we got a pretty cool origin. I mean, confusing as it was, but I still think it was cool for in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. But if I were to say one, like an original origin, I would go with he's some kind of ancient space god.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also really liked how he was portrayed in Godzilla. No, not in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, where he was, for the most part, shrouded by mystery. You don't know where this guy came from. You just know that he's not someone you want to fuck with. For some reason, I always like when a character is shrouded in mystery.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we do with it, more or less.
Yeah.
Short question, I know, but... Anyway, our next question comes from DeathChrist2000. And he asks, seeing as though I'm a cruel and evil bastard, name me your 10 favorite parts from the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie, and it has to be directly to the film. No cop-out saying it made me appreciate the others, or the animated series, or the memes.
I would say that this is like trying to find a needle in a haystack if there was a needle.
No. This is trying to find the peanut in the turd.
Yeah.
Oh, God in heaven. As I said in the comment before, you monster! So, oh boy.
I guess I appreciate that they kept a few things from Godzilla. I mean, everybody's like, oh, there's nothing in Godzilla in it, and there's very few stuff in it. But I guess I kind of appreciate that they kept the dorsal spines and, in some ways, the roar. Even though there are times when he sounds like a fucking elephant when he roars.
Yeah. Okay, the spines, I guess if I'm grasping for straws here, the spines...
yeah, I'm also grasping for straws. Just...
it made me laugh at how bad, Matthew Broderick is.
Yeah.
It also made me laugh at the fact that Roland Emmerich thinks he's so intelligent at making fun at Roger and Ebert.
You mean Siskel and Ebert?
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert, excuse me. It makes me laugh that Roland Emmerich thinks he's that intelligent at doing that, because that's the mayor and his right-hand man, where they were a parody of Siskel and Ebert, because they always gave him bad reviews in the movie, so he's like, haha, I'm so smart, I'll make them. Like, oh, you are so dumb.
Yeah. In fact, they pretty much said, in fact, Siskel and Ebert were pretty much like, yeah, that's cool, but the movie still sucks.
Well, they even said, if you're going to make a parody of us, do it right.
Yeah. And I find it hilarious how this guy who's only good at making these blow shit up movies is trying to mock the two of the most intelligent movie critics of all time.
Yeah. So that's one. There's another reason. The music wasn't that bad, and I'm not talking just about the original music. The original composed music. I actually like the soundtrack. With Rage Against the Machine and Puff Daddy. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I kind of like that as well. I guess maybe because there are parts where that sound like Cashmere from Aerosmith.
Yeah, it's actually kind of epic when you think about it. You just kind of imagine the true Godzilla wrecking shit to that song.
Yeah.
So the soundtrack and the composed music. Oh, god damn it! You have bested me, Death Christ.
Hey, at least we actually got some stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised we got some stuff too. I know I can't say it made me appreciate the other movies, but I can't say that because I said that for Last Airbender. It made me appreciate the original series so much more.
I guess I can say that the effects weren't that bad. The design was horrible, but the effects weren't that bad. But there are some stuff that's just awful. Like some of the green screen was just atrocious.
Yeah.
How many was that?
I lost count. It ain't near 10. I'll tell you that.
Actually, I actually think it's pretty somewhat close to 10. Like, we're actually halfway there. I can't fucking believe that.
Yeah, so we got halfway there. You have bested us. I tip my hat to you, Death Christ. He's laughing at us, I know it.
He probably is.
Alright, thanks for that question, Death Christ. Moving on to the Omnitron12345. And he asks, Hulk grows to Godzilla size via Pym particles and fights Godzilla. Who wins?
Godzilla.
I'm not gonna say.
Godzilla has atomic breath. I will say they probably give a good fight, but I think Godzilla would probably win.
I'm not gonna say because I love both characters, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you go, Omnitron. That's my tiny... Sorry, it's a quick answer, but I can't really tell you.
Okay.
Alright, if you could create an opponent for Godzilla, what would you call it?
Wait. Who is this from?
Nathan Van Hatten.
Alright.
Sorry, I forgot to say the name. So, Nathan Van Hatten asks, if you could create an opponent for Godzilla, what would you call it? I guess we could answer this one because it's a little different from the other question of, like, make your own kaiju. It's basically making an opponent for Godzilla to fight. With the other one, you could just say, oh, it's a monster that teams up with Godzilla. You could easily play with that. So
then it's just the name.
Yeah. This has to be like a full-ass monster.
I'm sorry, I accidentally hit my laptop for a bit.
Yeah, this is a full-ass monster we gotta talk about.
Yeah. Fuck.
I'd actually, like, if I couldn't go with if I wasn't able to do the Mecha Godzilla idea with the scanning, I would make a totally new robot that could copy the other Kaiju's abilities. I don't know, I'd call it the, Camobot sounds too fucking stupid.
If they do that and they call it the Camobot, I'm walking the fuck out.
I would call, like, I don't know, the Kaiju Slayer? I don't know. That's the best I got.
That probably would have been the best I would have got, too.
Yeah, so a machine that could, that's made of, like, could have nanobots that could morph into and take on other abilities from Kaiju's, like, it could have Rodan's wings while shooting atomic breath and having Gears' spiked tail.
It's starting to sound a little bit like the T-1000, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a giant T-1000 that can copy Kaiju abilities.
Yeah, okay. What about you?
Oh, God. Well, like I said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But your idea does sound really cool.
Alright. So I guess we'll move on to the next question then?
Yeah, I guess, because I honestly cannot think of anything.
Alright. So thank you for that question, Nathan. Moving on to Flame Kid 100, and he asks, who will win a fight between Godzilla, Predaking, Belloc, Gorgo, and Fin Fang Foom? Okay, as much as I love Predaking, he's down. Belloc, Belloc's pretty good, but he ain't at Godzilla's level. Gorgo, bye. Fin Fang Foom's the only... Fin Fang Foom is the only one that's going to give Godzilla any trouble because he's super intelligent as well as strong, so... That's the tough one. Yeah,
That makes sense. But if we're going for intelligence, I guess Transformers Prime Predaking would probably give a little bit of a fight, but due to his size, I would say Godzilla would probably squish him.
Yeah. I mean, Predaking's big, but he's only going to go up to Godzilla's ankle.
Probably.
Yeah, Belloc from Fire Breather. He's intelligent too, but his fire... I don't... Like, again, it comes into size, and he'd only reach Godzilla's chest.
Yeah.
And Gorgo's a monster... Britain's response to Godzilla, but he doesn't have any, like, mentionable abilities, so I think Godzilla would take him out pretty quick. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Again, I think it'd only come down to Fin Fang Foom being the big opponent for him.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Yeah, so that's the big one right there. I think Godzilla would still win, but he'd definitely get his ass smacked around by Foom.
Yeah.
again, not trying to be the fanboy here. I'm just kind of looking at all the other monsters and just being like, they put up a good fight if they all are like, hey, let's not fight each other, just all gang up on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the order of how I see Godzilla dropping them: Predaking, Gorgo, Belloc, Foom. That's the order of how they're gonna go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that question, Flame Kid. Moving on to Action Fan 19. All right. Next question. Yeah, okay. Action Fan 19 asks, which version of Ghidorah do you like the most? Standard, Mecha, or Kaiser from Final Wars? Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm gonna say right off the bat, Kaiser Ghidorah's out. I mean, I really like Kaiser Ghidorah, but for some reason I don't like. Was Kaiser Ghidorah? Did Kaiser Ghidorah actually have 4 legs?
Yeah.
For some reason, I never liked that.
Yeah, me either. I don't know why. It just kind of looked dumb.
Yeah.
I know he's bigger, but why? You just could have made the legs a bit bigger and not give him an extra 4 legs. I'm gonna go with standard. You know, you can't go wrong with that. I did like, however, how they did the standard, and he looked in the Heisei series. He just looked menacing.
Yeah. But I would also have to go with the standard Ghidorah. One thing I will say is that he has one of the most unique roars out of all the Godzilla enemies.
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you for that question, Action Fan 19. That was a really quick one. We could all unanimously answer.
It was a good question.
Yeah, it was a good question. Quick, but good.
Yeah.
Amuya Reviews asked, if this new Godzilla movie does well, what other kaiju would you like to see introduced in the sequel? I don't think we got this question, did we?
No, this was what I was talking about. If you wanted to pick one of the kaijus, which one would you want to see?
I think you could bring in King Ghidorah, Gigan possibly, but the one I really want to see the most, because again, these Godzilla films sound like they're going to be very human-driven as well. So in that sense, I would like to see Mecha Godzilla done first in the sequel.
Yeah, I would also like to see that as well, but like I said, if I had to choose, I would pick one of the more underappreciated monsters, like Gigan for a good example.
All right.
I would love to see Gigan.
All right. Gigan, I'd go with Mecha Godzilla or Gigan. I would even like to go, maybe, I would go for, believe it or not, I would actually go for someone like, again, someone lesser known like Kamakura or Kumanga or
King Caesar, like we mentioned.
Yeah, King Caesar would be good. Even Magura.
Yeah, I would like to see Magura as well.
Yeah,
but that would be. But we already said that we would want to see Mecha Godzilla.
All right.
I guess I would also like to see Desodroya because I'm a little bit biased and I really like Desodroya.
All right. All right. So thank you for that question, Moya Reviews. MB Free asks, what would you like to see Godzilla crossover with? I'd say Pacific Rim or Ultraman. Well, Guillermo del Toro, as much as I love him, loves to, talk about all these great ideas, but however Hollywood tells him to shut up, and we all get mad because Hollywood tells Del Toro to shut up. And he's been talking a lot about, doing a crossover with Pacific Rim and Godzilla, which I'm all for.
So am I. And I still stand by that. That would be the perfect way to bring in Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, that would be. And it would be cool because maybe you could do that as the sequel, kind of like how they're bringing in Batman in the next Man of Steel sequel.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. So, maybe. But in terms of other Godzilla crossovers I'd like to see, I would like to see something like maybe Godzilla and Mars Attacks, Godzilla and Transformers.
Oh, that would be great.
And a few others. Maybe.
I know that everyone wants to see a Godzilla and Gamera crossover.
Yeah, that's kind of the unit. That's the one across the board.
Yeah.
That's just a few for me. What about you?
I would have to say Pacific Rim Transformers and Gamera.
All right. So you want to move on to the next question?
Sure.
All right. Next question comes from Mr. Emerald123, and he asks, which kaiju would you think could take on? Which kaiju do you think could take on the Megazord and the Dragonzord at the same time? Okay, it's actually kind of funny because there's actually this cool little animated film, this animated short of Mecha Godzilla fighting the Megazord, and then the Dragonzord comes in. They both kick the Mecha Godzilla's ass.
I'll have to check that out sometime.
Yeah. So Mecha Godzilla. Of course, Godzilla.
Yeah. I would have to agree with Mecha Godzilla. That was the one I was going to bring up. Because the retro Mecha Godzilla could turn his head and basically fire in two directions.
Yeah.
If he's going to take on two opponents at the same time, then that would be a good way to take on two opponents at the same time.
Yeah. I'd have to go with, in terms of other monsters, King Ghidorah and Gigan. Because, 2-on-2. King Ghidorah and Gigan fighting the Dragonzord and the Megazord.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool tag team battle.
Yeah.
Godzilla, of course.
Maybe Destroya?
Yeah, Destroya would be cool. Orga.
Yeah.
Biollante would be cool.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
That's about it for me.
I'm trying to think of all the Godzilla rosters, and so far you pretty much got it all. Got them all.
Alright. So thank you for that question, Mr. Emerald. Moving on to Wolfman the Impaler, and he asks, if IDW did a third Infestation event, or something similar to the Mars Attacks IDW, but using Godzilla and his fellow Toho Kaiju, what IDWs would you like to see involved? My personal picks would be Transformers and Star Trek. Okay, Jason, let me give you a little info about what this is. You see, IDW Comics has the rights to Godzilla, comic rights to Godzilla, and what they like to do is crossover stuff. They did some events like zombies infesting... Their first one, called Infestation, involved zombies infesting Star Trek, Transformers, G.I. Joe, what were the other ones? Ghostbusters, and...
Is Ninja Turtles owned by IDW?
Yeah, they're also... And they also did one... They did a second one called Infestation 2, and it involved the monsters from H.P. Lovecraft invading the Ninja Turtles' homeworld, Star Trek, and all that other stuff. And then they did one with Mars Attacks, from that... they did Mars Attacks that had...
I know of that one, and I did hear from you that they were going to cross over Mars Attacks with Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that one's just came out last week. Yeah, Mars Attacks Judge Dredd. I actually got to read the first issue. Oh my god, it's awesome.
I'll just check it out sometime.
Yeah. Okay, if they did an event involving the Godzilla monsters coming to other IDW titles, okay, here's the list I want to see. Star Trek, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, they can't do Doctor Who anymore, damn it.
I would like to see those as well as G.I. Joe.
Yeah, G.I. Joe would be cool.
Yeah.
I would even like to see the 30 Days of Night and X-Files. They now have X-Files.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. The way you could do the X-Files one is like Mulder and Scully in Tokyo after the events of a Godzilla attack or something like that. I'd even like to see Godzilla Mars Attacks Godzilla.
Yeah. Alright.
So, thank you for that question, Wolfman. Oh, did you have any others?
No. The two main ones, though, I would say are Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Alright. So thank you for that question. Next comes the Spawn117, and he asks, what do you think of a Godzilla Legend of Korra crossover, or a Gundam Seed Godzilla crossover, or a Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover?
We already answered Pacific Rim. We think that would be awesome.
Yeah. In terms of like Gundam Seed and Legend of Korra, Gundam Seed interesting. I think it would be cool to see the Gundams fight Godzilla. Legend of
Maybe, but I don't know much about Gundam Seed.
Okay.
As for Legend of Korra, all I can think of is just how it would open. Basically, just do this. Basically, just do the same thing that Book 2 opened with, except replace the Dark Spirit with Godzilla.
Yeah, and just pretty much have Godzilla destroy Republic City. I don't know how the fuck he'd get in that universe.
Yeah, basically just Godzilla. You can't actually neither would I because they have no atomic bombs in that universe, as far as we know.
Yeah. The thing is that Godzilla would totally wreck the Legend of Korra. I'm sorry, guys. As much as I like Legend of Korra, I don't love it, but I do like it. Godzilla would wreck Republic City, a new one. Yeah. And then move on to the rest of the cities, and he'd probably tear ass in the spirit world. So, that's the quick answer. So I think out of all of them, I'd really like to see the Gundam Seed Godzilla crossover.
The way I've heard about Gundam Seed, it would sound interesting, but I would still have to go with Pacific Rim.
Alright. So, thank you for that question, Spawn. Next comes from Grimlock1992. And he asks, who do you think would win in a fight between Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla 3, and Trypticon? Mecha Godzilla 3, I guess he's referring to Kiryu.
Yeah, he is.
So Kiryu, Godzilla... Oh wait, it's supposed to be if we could pick between Mecha Godzilla or Kiryu to fight Trypticon. I actually kind of want to... As much as we've been talking about Godzilla, I think Kiryu versus Trypticon would be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, that is a tough one.
Yeah. I gotta call draw.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, they're both really intelligent. I mean, Trypticon can talk and all that, but Kiryu is like a thinking AI in his brain.
Yeah.
So it's so freaking tough.
It is tough.
So I can't think of one.
Yeah, neither can I, so I gotta go with you and call it draw.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that question, Grimlock. Our final question comes from Zach the Thunder King. And he asks, if you could control any of the kaijus, who would it be? No Godzilla.
Well, that's easy. Destroya.
Alright.
If I couldn't pick him, I guess I would pick King Ghidorah as well.
Alright.
But that's just if I can't pick Destroya.
Alright. For me, I'd go a little more... I'd go for, like, someone a little less OP and go for, like, King Caesar or... Jet Jaguar.
Tell you the truth, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And, of course, Gigan and King Ghidorah, of course.
Yeah. When he says any kaiju except Godzilla, does he also count any of the Mecha Godzillas?
Nah.
No, I wouldn't count that either.
Yeah. So the Mecha Godzillas would be cool as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So thank you for that question. Thank you for that question, good sir. And Zach the Thunder King, thank you for that question. And we're done.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, that was our last question. Yeah. Time flies when you're talking about the G-Man.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I want to thank JasonVoorhees2011 for coming on board.
Anytime, man.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, if you haven't subscribed to him, do it now, and also go check out Transformers: The Avatar Chronicles on his on fanfiction. It's awesome.
That is if fanfiction doesn't screw around with us, because for a while, actually, fanfiction would not load up for some unknown reason. I think it's been having technical problems, but it's fine now.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, once again, subscribe to him if you haven't already, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I don't know what the next Q&A will be about. I did get a few suggestions, but I want to make my own decision on this. So...
Fair enough.
Yeah. So anywho, yeah, we are done.